Hey folks, it's Teresa. Welcome to the kitchen. Today is Canada Day, July 1st, 2024. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making spaghetti sauce. It's something that it has to cook for quite a while. I made some tomato juice this year, and it's very thin. It's not thick at all. So we're going to put some of that in. I did get some tomato paste just in case because I knew it was going to be thinner. We're going to use fresh garlic from the garden. We're going to, I've got some onions, some peppers that I had froze from last year, and we're going to pop that in. And I'm going to use some pork sausage as well as part of the meat in the sauce. So let me get going. Just a couple of tips. Do not do tomato sauce or tomatoes-based products in cast iron or in aluminum. You need a stainless steel pan for it. It'll wear out in those pans. The cast iron will leach, and also the aluminum won't. I think it pits it, so it's not the right pan to use. So you do need a stainless steel pan. So I've got a big stainless steel pan. So we'll get started on this, and we'll see how it goes today. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the sausage. I didn't have any sausage in casings, but I do have this maple leaf sausage, which is perfect for Canada Day. It's maple leaf, of course. So we'll get this into the pan. Oh, let me get it heated. We'll get the pot turned on, and we're just going to squeeze this out. So I have the perfect tool for that. This is the mix and chop from Hampered Chef, and this you just chop up here. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, just because I don't think there's a lot of fat in the pork sausage itself. Could be wrong. And we're going to drain off the fat once we get it all cooked up anyways. Now I find that there is a bit of salt in this particular product, so I'm not going to add salt just yet. But I will be adding some once I start my sauce. So we're going to leave that a bit chunky and let that cook away, and then I'm going to add to that, and we're going to layer on top. Okay, so what I want to do first is I want to do the onions. We got a lot of stuff going on here today. My brother-in-law is coming over. He's going to be helping my husband put together a new trailer for our kayaks. So I'm going to do these rather chunky. This is my favorite knife for chopped onions. My favorite. It's the cheese knife from Cutco. Alright, so we got the onions chopped up into chunks. This is garlic that I got from the garden the other day. It's still moist. It's not fully dried, so I'm just going to chop off the ends. And then we'll break it open that way. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So put the onions in. We'll let them sweat down for a few minutes. Just give them a stir. I did add that oil, which is good because there's not a lot of grease in this pork sausage. Give that a stir. Now, I'm not actually going to mince the garlic, but I'm just going to kind of cut it up a bit. So I'll grab another knife here. So chunky's good. Okay, let's give it a stir. We're going to put in some salt now, using the coarse sea salt. See that? I don't have a lot of salt in my tomato sauce, so we'll throw it in now. About 2 handfuls. And that's about 2 tablespoons. And now we're going to add the garlic. And I'm also going to add some garlic scape sea salt that I made the other day. Just a little bit of it. See the color? Isn't that beautiful? Open these up. These are just made this year. Because they're a lot thinner, I wanted to use them up. I've got tomato sauce, but almost forgot. I also want to throw in some green peppers. These are peppers that we had cut last year and froze in little bags. Perfect size. I don't know, what's that? Maybe about a cup? Chunkies. Give this a stir. It'll cool it down a little bit, but I've got it on the 6, and the onions are really hot now and they're sweating. So we're good. Okay, let that cook for a minute. Good for now. So what I'm going to do is put the juice in. Give it a stir. Now that is going to have to reduce quite a bit. It's more like a soup right now. Next time I'll make sure I do my juice thicker so I have like a sauce. Okay, something else that I'm doing for dinner is I'm making some sourdough bread. Now I don't have a sourdough starter that I have, but I did put some in the fridge last night. So I just do it in a Ziploc bag. It's there's maybe about 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of yeast. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the fridge now, and I want to just put it into a bowl. So this will warm up. It'll start rising a bit more. So what you put it in the fridge, and it gets that sour flavor from sitting all night. So I'm just going to put some plastic wrap over top of it, and then I'm going to let it sit out on the counter while it warms up, and it'll start to ferment a little bit more, and we'll get some rise out of it. And then I'm going to start to actually turn it a little bit. Now it's a little different with this because it's so liquidy. You don't want to actually take it out on and put it on the countertop and add flour yet. We're going to do that the last thing. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to go ahead and wait till the sauce thickens a bit more. It's going to take several hours for that to happen. I'm going to have it just on low once it gets to boil, and then the same thing for the bread. It has to sit for several hours. So we're going to be there. So there we go. So I'm just going to turn this down a little bit more. It's really starting to thicken up, and you can see where the line was. So it's gone down maybe about 1.5 inches in liquid. So I'm just going to turn it down even further. Just put it on low. We've still got some time left on it. So I'm going to try and do the bread now and just give you an idea of what's done with that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up some garlic. I've got a few garlic scapes left, and that's it. No more garlic scapes till next year. And I'm going to use some Parmesan cheese. Cut them up, and I'm going to incorporate that into the bread. So you'll see what happens. It's really cool. So let's just cut up the scapes. Oops. Now you can eat the flowers, which is this little piece here on the end. You can. I don't. I find that they take longer to cook, so I don't worry about them. So we'll just give these a fine chop. This is probably the wrong knife to be using for this, but I'm sure Alana, who is my knife girl, she sells me the Cutco products. She will be the one to tell me that it's the wrong knife. Right, Alana? Okay, and put that aside. Now, look how soupy that is. I'm going to take my watch off and my rings, and I'm going to get some flour because you do need flour in this. So just grab 3/4 of a cup of flour. Just a little bit of olive oil for my hands. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to stick your fingers in and fold it. See how gross it is? It's just so soupy. If you're not one for sticky, then you would not like this one bit. So I just want to bring them up, bring it up, fold it around. Okay, now we're going to add a bit of flour because it's just too soupy. Okay. I don't have an exact recipe for this. I'm sure you can find it. And I'll take a look and see if I can find one for rustic bread. Okay, and then we're going to add the garlic scapes. And we're going to also add some Parmesan cheese. And then just incorporate that all into it. I'm going to roll this out now. So we're going to put a lot of flour down. You want to make sure that you get everything mixed in there. Okay, we've got everything incorporated in there. We're not going to add any more flour. Okay, now I'm just going to let this rest, and I'm actually going to start the oven. Okay, so what I've done here is I've put the Dutch oven in the oven while it heats. We're going to take this dough, which needs to go on this parchment paper. Okay, with as little movement as possible. There we go. Perfect. Put the Dutch oven in the 450-degree oven. We're going to leave it in there for about 30 minutes because we want to get that Dutch oven really, really hot. And then we're going to put the bread into the Dutch oven and put it back in the oven for 30 minutes with the lid on and 15 minutes with the lid off. And then the bread is done for dinner. We'll let it cool off, of course. Can't eat it right away. Never eat bread when it's hot because it's just going to steam out. Now you don't want to touch that. It's really, 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 really hot. So we're just going to take the 4 corners of our bread and then just pop it in. Again, don't touch. And then we'll put the lid on and it goes back in the oven. So there we go. Bread's in the oven. So it's 30 minutes with the lid on, and that actually steams and rises the bread, and then 15 minutes with the lid off, and that will really crisp up the outside.